Amidst bone-crushing tackles, precision passes, and magnificent touchdowns, these moments remind us of human elements in this high-stakes arena. In this video, we'll explore such incidents where emotions overpower logic, and athletes cross the boundary between passion and rivalry. Besides attraction for the viewer, these incidents also leave an unforgettable mark on the sport's history by offering insight into the passions that drive these great sportsmen. Number 10. Justin Smith, San Francisco 49ers vs. Los Angeles Chargers. Defensive end Justin Smith intentionally contacted an official during the 49ers match against the Chargers. Smith admits that his contact with the official was intentional, although he claims not to have been aware of whom he was contacting. Official Garth DeFelice was trying to defuse the situation, not knowing that he would be pushed away by Justin Smith, but this official, without thinking, made him pay for what he did and ejected him immediately. Smith will never forget this moment because from now on, he'll always take a pause and consider his actions before pushing someone away.
That foul is against an official, and it requires an automatic disqualification of number 94.
Number 9. Chris Baker and Jason Peters, Washington Commanders vs. Philadelphia Eagles. During a tightly contested match between the Commanders and Eagles, defensive end Chris Baker delivered an unnecessary hit to quarterback Nick Foles. This action caused a chaotic quarrel between the two teams, involving Commanders offensive lineman Trent Williams and Eagles offensive lineman Jason Peters. As a result, Baker was ejected from the game for his assault, while Peters also faced removal due to his equal involvement in the fight. Despite the penalties incurred by their teammates, Williams was allowed to remain in the game. Number 8. Steve Smith Sr., Washington Commanders vs. Baltimore Ravens. In a shocking display of aggression on the football field, Chris Culliver and Steve Smith engaged in a physical fight that turned the field into an octagon. It took the intervention of a referee to separate them and restore order. In that very moment, the ground itself seemed to mirror an arena worthy of the grandest wrestling events. The aggressive behavior and lack of regard displayed during this incident led to an exchange of angry words between Ravens head coach John Harbaugh and Washington coach Jay Gruden. As a result of their behavior, both Culliver and Smith were ejected from the game. Smith was able to watch the remainder of the game from the stands alongside his son. Number 7. Dante Wesley, Carolina Panthers vs. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The hit delivered by Panthers CB Dante Wesley on Bucs return man Clifton Smith is one of the most egregious violations of the rules and highlights the importance of the halo and fair catch regulations. Regrettably, Wesley completely disregarded these rules and forcefully struck Smith, causing him to suffer a concussion and throat injury. It's important to note that this was an illegal hit, as Wesley launched himself at Smith while he was in a vulnerable position awaiting a punt. The contact made by Wesley's forearm to Smith's throat occurred well before the ball could even be caught. Referee John Perry promptly penalized Wesley for interference along with a personal foul, leading to his ejection from the game. However, this incident also triggered a skirmish on the field as emotions ran high. Bucs coach Raheem Morris aptly labeled it a cheap shot, while safety Tanar Jackson denounced it as dirty. Number 6. Jerry Tillery, Las Vegas Raiders vs. Los Angeles Chargers. During the game, there was an incident involving Tillery, a former teammate of Herbert from their time together on the Chargers. As Herbert had touched the sideline and eased up, Tillery delivered a forceful hit by lowering his shoulder into Herbert's shoulder, causing him to be propelled further out of bounds. The Chargers sideline responded swiftly, enclosing Tillery before a couple of Raider teammates intervened to escort him away from the bench area. The officials deemed this action as a personal foul for unnecessary roughness, which led to a 15-yard penalty being imposed on top of Tillery being disqualified from the remainder of the game.
Looking across the field here, he's clearly out of bounds.
Number 5. Roderick Teamer, Las Vegas Raiders vs. Dallas Cowboys. In the third quarter of the game, there was an altercation between Raiders safety Roderick Teamer and Cowboys cornerback Kelvin Joseph. Both players were ejected from the game for their involvement. The incident occurred during a punt play, with Teamer covering the return and Joseph blocking him down the field. The situation quickly escalated as heated words were exchanged, leading to pushing and shoving between players from both teams. The confrontation spilled over to the Raiders sideline and even reached in front of the stands. Unfortunately, field judge Tom Hill suffered an injury during the scuffle, resulting in a bloody chin. He received medical attention and a bandage during a timeout. Number 4. Ronnie Harrison Jr., Cleveland Browns vs. Kansas City Chiefs. During the first quarter of Cleveland vs. Kansas City Chiefs, Brown safety Ronnie Harrison Jr. was ejected from the game. The ejection came after a shoving incident with the Chiefs' assistant coach. The altercation occurred after Harrison tackled running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire near the Kansas City sideline. As Harrison got up, he accidentally bumped into Chiefs center Creed Humphrey and stepped on Edwards-Helaire. This led to Chiefs running back assistant Greg Lewis pushing Harrison away, to which Harrison responded by pushing him in the neck. When Browns coach Kevin Stefanski was asked about this incident, he said he did not witness it and would review it before making any comments. Cornerback MJ Stewart Jr. was brought in as a replacement for Harrison at safety. The Browns were missing a big part in this game because of their key players being grounded, one for his misconduct and the other, Grant Delpit, who was ruled inactive before kickoff. Number 3, DK Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks versus Green Bay Packers. Seattle Seahawks wide receiver DK Metcalf was ejected due to a fallout with Henry Black. During the incident, Metcalf grabbed Black's mask and exchanged words with a few other defenders from Green Bay. It seemed like he just wanted to pressurize the opponent team member, but he went too far in it. Interestingly, it appeared that the 23-year-old was unaware of his ejection as he attempted to return to the field shortly after. Following the game, Metcalf expressed that his ejection stemmed from frustration and conveyed his weariness of losing. The potential consequences for Metcalf's actions in Sunday's game remain uncertain. However, engaging in unsportsmanlike conduct can result in a $12,875 fine for a first offense and an $18,025 fine for a second offense. Additionally, fighting carries a substantial $36,148 fine for initial violations. Number 2, Eric Kendricks, Minnesota Vikings versus Chicago Bears. During Monday night's game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears, linebacker Eric Kendricks was ejected for a helmet-to-helmet hit on quarterback Justin Fields. This personal foul led to his disqualification from the remainder of the game. Before his ejection, Kendricks had been an important player for the Vikings, recording 7 tackles. The rookie player made a scramble for a short gain. Kendricks made contact with him high as he went to slide, causing his helmet to bounce off the ground. Kendricks immediately threw his arms up after the hit, indicating that he did not intentionally aim for Fields' helmet. After a brief moment on the field, Fields quickly got up and jogged back to the huddle. The penalty on Kendricks resulted in the Bears gaining possession of the ball at the Minnesota 7-yard line. However, they were unable to convert and unfortunately turned it over on downs to conclude the drive. Number 1, Rayshawn Jenkins, Jacksonville Jaguars versus San Francisco 49ers. During a play involving 49ers wide receiver Deebo Samuel, Jenkins and Jennings became entangled, and their altercation persisted beyond the intended play. As their physical struggle continued, Jennings' helmet was forcibly removed, prompting Jenkins to strike his face with an open right hand. In response to this act, a referee immediately penalized Jenkins for his unsportsmanlike conduct. These most shocking ejections in NFL history are proof of the unpredictability and drama that make football one of the world's most beloved and intriguing sports. They remind us that no matter how sophisticated and calculating the game appears to be, it's the raw human element, the passion, the heart, and the occasional outburst that keeps us on the edge of our seats, waiting for the next spectacular NFL moment.